to Face, the program
that frontally discusses
political and social issues in Nigeria. The weekly program brought to you on Wednesday by 6 p.m. Nigerian time, anchored by Prince Ewemade Concourse, powered by GCSDN.
Join us.
Yes, good evening from the United Kingdom. Good morning, good afternoon, depends on the part of the continent for which you are watching this program today. Our topic for today is who is really to blame for the political and social instability in Nigeria. That's the topic, and a very strong topic where we say, I would like to analyze from the top to the bottom and from the bottom to the top. Because oftentimes we blame the politicians. We blame those that we entrusted with power to rule over us or to pilot the affair of our great nation. However, we the Nigerian citizens, you that is watching this program, I that is speaking to you, we are also part of the problem. And anyway, I'm going to be speaking in between the English and the normal English and the pidgin English, so that those in the grassroots can also understand what I'm saying. Yes, the problem of Nigeria, the political and the social instability in Nigeria, today Nigeria is in a state of distress. Nigeria is in distress. In the greatest nation, black nation on earth is in distress. Yes. I'm the one telling you, Nigeria is under distress. Now, I need to ask you that is watching, who is to be blamed for the political and social instability in Nigeria? The crisis, the killings that is going on in the north, in the southeast, the kidnapping, unemployment, just name but few. Okay, who are these political? People blame the politicians for the crisis that we are facing in Nigeria today. But let me tell you, the politicians are normal people like you and I. Let's just start how they got there into those political office. Then I'm going somewhere, then I will not tell you where the problem lies. Who are the politicians? The politicians are people like you and I. Yes, they have the ambition to rule their state, to be the senator, the House of Rep member, councillor, chairman, governor, just name it. Most of them, 99.9% of these politicians, before they aspire to become whatever they are today in the society, some of them might not have the tendency of corruption. They might not have that ambition of going into office to loot the public fund or to cause chaos in the system. Now, a politician wants to run for office. He goes around meeting people from point A to point B, selling his or her manifesto to the public, which is also done in the Western clime where I reside here in the UK precisely. They solicit for support. When they start soliciting for support, selling their manifesto to the public, to different communities and area, you know what happened? Most of those people they go to, they demand money. They demand money. If the politician does not come to them with money, 80% of the time they will not listen. Only few Nigerians that will listen to you. So that's the beginning of our problem. When they start campaigning, they spend money. Some of them will even end up selling their properties in order to ensure they have enough war chest to fight the battle that lies ahead for them. They spend money from the beginning to the end of the election cycle. Now, they will bribe the INEC official. They will bribe the police. They will bribe the DSS. Name it, the Civil Defense Corps. I beg your pardon me, please. They will bribe everything bribable in order for them to get to power. For the average Nigerians that elected them or selected them whatever the case may be. They've already lost their way by demanding money from the politicians from the onset. Because if someone sell or borrow money to contest, of course, when they go into office, they're going to try to recover their money, thereby corrupting the very foundation of the system, where the beginning of the campaign is corrupted already. So from there, the road to power. Some of them get elected while some get selected. When the road to power, with the help of the INEC, who is going to also compromise, demanding for money from the politician in order for them to be selected or favored. So now, that man, your brother, your sister, who works for the INEC or is one of those INEC officials, they had the problem of Nigeria. The civil servant that compromises in every parasector of the government, from the local government, the first tier of the government, to the second tier of the government, and the third tier of the government, they compromise. They are the problem of Nigeria. Now, that woman that sells tomatoes in the market, the vulcanizer who fix tire on the roadside, the carpenter who fix furnitures, and the driver that pilot the affairs of the daily service of the public transportation, they are the problem of Nigeria. They compromise their integrity. They demand more for money from all these politicians. At the end of the day, we find ourselves where we are. Let me give you a very good case study, like United States, for example, Canada, UK, Western client, for example. Nobody pays anybody money when they are campaigning. They campaign based on their principles, ideology, and manifesto. So at the end of the day, when they do not bribe anybody from the onset, they have to work for the people. They have to deliver the dividends of the democracy for the people, because democracy is supposed to be for the people, by the people, and for the people and by the people. So if they do not bribe anybody from the onset, obviously they are going to office to work for you, for me. So you see, like I said, the those thug that help their political father and political godfather to manipulate, to cut away with election materials on election day, they are the problem of Nigeria. The youth who also compromise their integrity always want to be on the side of those that will give them money. They are the problem of Nigeria. Everybody is guilty. So for me, after taking a holistic view of the situation of Nigeria from 1960 to date, if you look back post-independence of Nigeria 1960, life were a little bit better. Things were good because we still have men, probably about 60-70% of men of goodwill, people who were ready to put their nation first. Probably above that. I'm just estimating. Don't take my estimation for it, but I'm sure it's above 70%, because there were still men of integrity in the society, men that stood for principles, for ideology of how to move the nation further, how to better the society. So we have those men in power. So the political and social instability in Nigeria today is as a result of the failure of every Nigerian citizen. I am saying it without mining any words, including myself. Today, Nigeria celebrates people with ill-gotten wealth. It wasn't the same case like that in the 70s, 80s, a little bit of early 90s. Today, people are being celebrated. Youth with no source of income are being celebrated in our society. The decay of moral consciousness is one of our biggest problems in Nigeria as a nation. So the people we should be blaming now, not the politicians, because the politicians were just average Nigerians like you and I before they went into politics. The system corrupted them. The system, you and I, gave them that plow. We pushed them to that level. Because if they had come to you and refused to collect, you refuse to collect money from them, tell them, go there, I will support you, go there when you win, work for us. And every Nigerians have this mindset. To be honest with you, the political instability and the social instability that we have today in Nigeria would not be there. Never. Even if it were to be there, maybe 5 or 10%. Yeah, because there's no society that is 100% free of corruption. There is none. If anybody tell you their society is free, their country is free from corruption, tell them to look again. If they cannot find it, tell them to come and meet me and I will point them to that direction anywhere in the world. So for us, to move away from this madness, we need to go back to the drawing board, go back to our grassroots, our roots. We need to trace our root back again to where we missed it. We need to go back to our root. How did we get to where we are as a nation today? Now, people are blaming President Bola Tinubu. For me, it's too early to blame Tinubu. Tinubu is not the problem of Nigeria. Tinubu is not the problem of Nigeria. I'm saying it without many words. President Bola Tinubu is not the problem of Nigeria. The problem of Nigeria are Nigerians. The problem of Nigeria as a nation are my fellow Nigerians. Yes, President Tinubu maneuvered his way, bought the INEC, did all he could do to become the president because, like he said, I'm quoting him, he said, it was his turn. Emilio Con, it was my turn. And it has been his lifelong ambition. No problem. He fought, he maneuvered, he did with all he needed to do to become the president of Nigeria. But Bola Ahmed is not the problem of Nigeria. The problem of Nigeria are you that is watching, me who is speaking to you today. So if we take Bola, if for example now, we take out President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and replace it with somebody else, the same problem will continue to exist in Nigeria. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not the problem. Yes, some of his policy, let's say, for example, one of his policy that the earlier policy that he came up with, which is the removal of the fuel subsidy that was already a scam, right from during Jonathan era. That policy triggered the cost of fuel and all that across the country. Yes, there's no doubt about that. But like I said on one of my previous program, I said, was President Bola, I asked that question, was President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was he the one that owned the fleet station who started selling fuel a day after that announcement? Who bought a fuel for a cheaper price but started selling immediately the removal of the subsidy? Was that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? So we need to start being honest with ourselves. We need to be very, very honest with ourselves because where we are going as a nation as we speak, if you like, go and take Barack Obama, go to the United States, bring Barack Obama to Nigeria to become president. Give him 6 months to 1 year. Nigerians will change that man to become Buhari or change him to become Good Luck. I'm telling you, there's nobody that you are going to bring from anywhere outside Nigeria or in Nigeria that will be able to address the problem of Nigeria, except we begin to address the problem by ourselves, you and I, holistically. We'll start addressing it from the grassroots. From the grassroots. One of the biggest problems we have in Nigeria today is the death of the moral consciousness in our society. The decay of moral consciousness. Nobody have conscience anymore. Consciousness anymore. Nobody have conscience anymore. People do things just because they want to do it. Nobody does things with integrity anymore. And you are telling me Tinubu is the problem of Nigeria? Is the one causing the problem? It's not the problem. Bring 200 Barack Obama to Nigeria to become the president. Nigeria will remain the same way because the civil servant who are always referred to as the enabler of corruption in Nigeria, they are there. Because, like I always say, if somebody who perhaps went to school in UK, United States, Canada, that has never been in politics, he has the passion to lead the people, and he has the dream of becoming a governor or a senator or House of Rep member or a Senate or a House of Rep member in his constituency. He would travel all the way down from wherever it is, a place of abode, come to Nigeria. He doesn't know anything about the system, and he wants to become the governor or senator, whatever the case may be. He has no idea on how contracts are awarded, voucher are being lifted in the office, the procedure, the protocol of each of these administrative sector, part of the government. The first people they will meet once they are elected to serve the people are the civil servant. The civil servant are the one that's going to teach them the nut and bolt of how to make money from the system. You are blaming Bola Tinubu for the problem. You are the problem of Nigeria. You are the problem of Nigeria. I'm saying it without mining words. You are the problem of Nigeria. For me, I will never add my voice to the voice of Nigerians who are saying or are telling President Bola Tinubu that he is the problem of Nigeria. It's not the problem. It's you and I that is the problem of Nigeria. Challenge me to anywhere and I will tell you anytime, any day. Bola Tinubu is not the problem. He has only been in office for just 1 year plus. Before he came into office, a bag of rice was already sold over 50,000 naira because of the exchange rate of dollar. Like as if we are exporting rice from overseas with dollar. The cost of smith that is locally made in Nigeria. Bag of smith is sold cheaper in Cotonou, Republic of Cotonou. Republic of Benin, which is Cotonou. And in Ghana, Accra is so quite cheaper than Nigeria, where the smith is being, manufactured locally. All the raw materials for smith, we have it in Nigeria. If you're going through from Benin to Okene to Abuja, you see all those rock, Okene, all those areas. There are those stones where they get the raw materials to manufacture smith. We have it in Okbila in Edo State. Smith is locally produced in Nigeria. But what is the cost of Smith today? Is Bola Tinubu the problem? Is the politician? The politician, yes, there are policies. Because the Nigerians like you and I push them to the level that they are. Because when they were average man like you and I, they see things differently. But the moment they sold their last piece of property to campaign, to run for elected position, you change their mindset. Yes, some of you or many of you might not agree with my analysis about those who are behind the political and the social instability in Nigeria. But this is my own sincere opinion. And this is after looking at the situation of Nigeria, including myself, who is a Nigerian. I'm not taking myself out of it. So I'm not pointing finger to every other Nigerian, including myself, because they say when you point forefinger to other people, the other one is pointing back to you. So including myself, I am also included. We are all part and parcel of the problem we face in the nation called Nigeria today. Nigeria is in distress. Look everything around the country and tell me one thing that is not currently under distress in that nation. So my brothers and sisters, we need to have a rethink. We need to change our way of life. We need to stop celebrating those 16, 15 years old with no viable source of income, coming back home with a car of 20 million naira. Where did they get it from? We need to stop celebrating them. Those are part of the problem of Nigeria. Because now everybody wants to be on top. Everybody wants to want to show up. Everybody wants they want to show up. But you want to show up, you don't work to show up. You do one or two things, either through stealing or through yahoo or through ritual. When I was a young man growing up, I never heard of any young person doing ritual. In my days, there was no young Nigerian doing it. Was only certain people. I don't want to mention the part of the country that we used to hear, but they use their wife, they use their brother, they use their father for ritual. That was the only thing that we knew in my era. But today, like I said, people use their girlfriend's underwear. There was a period of time in Nigeria the people were avoiding spreading their underwear on the public, throwing away their pad, their menstrual cycle, the pad they use during their menstrual cycle, throwing on the public dustbin, because all these things were being collected. People were even pulling on the outside. I mean, people pull on the side of the roadside, and people will go there and pack it or probably eat all those rubbish just to make money. So we Nigerians are the problem of Nigeria. There's nothing that you will tell me. The truth is, all Nigeria, we all share the responsibility. All Nigerians, we share the responsibility of the political and the social instability in the country. All of us. Whether you are Christian, you are Muslim, you are pagan, whatever religion, whether you belong to PDP, APC, Labour, AFGA, CPC, AAC, whatever political party I don't care. We are all part and parcel of the political instability and social instability in Nigeria. Nigeria is in a dire need. The nation is in distress, no matter how we look at it. No matter how you look at it, we are under. The attack that Nigeria is currently under is an attack from the citizens, because we all contributed to it. Yes, it's easy to point finger to the president. Yes, he's the chief commander of the armed forces. It's easy because the system has rot. So there's nothing the president will do from the top, that will be able to transcend down. I'm going to use Burkina Faso again as a case study. Yes, I'm not in any way, shape, or form calling for military intervention in Nigeria. Let me make that very clear, because I don't want to be misconstrued or take my statement out of context. The young man Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, I'm sure for those of you that have been following him, I love that guy. I've been following him. I'm not going to lie. I saw all he has been doing for his citizens, for his the little nation of Burkina Faso, and I am so much in love with that guy. Something happened within the system, within the government. If there's a law in place in that country, nobody steal anything from the government. If you are caught stealing from the government, you know the consequence. So he came into office, factory resetted the mindset of his people, and now everybody is doing what they're supposed to have done before he came into office. So it takes one person. Yes, Bola Tinubu was elected as a democratically elected president. The rot in our system need to be addressed properly from the bottom up. The military way of doing things is different from the civilian way of doing things. The civilian, they have their own way of doing things, while the military also have their own way of doing things. But in a nutshell, the problem of Nigeria, the political and the social instability in Nigeria, is as a result of the problem, the mess and the problem that the little contribution that you and I contributed to that politician getting elected into office, to that man, that woman in the public service, that file that voucher that you lifted, you inflated the budget, inflated the figure you are the problem of Nigeria. That youth copper who went to serve in Borno, in Adamawa, in Yobe, in every state, assisted the politician to get into the office, you are the problem. The police officer who assisted them by standing aloof, watching, collected money and started watching people snatching the ballot box, you are the problem. The EFCC walking around on that day looking for people that are coming to buy vote, but at the end, when they get settled, they don't do anything. You are the problem. The military who have no business in politics, who are supposed to stay away from politics. Their job is supposed to be to fight and defend the territorial district of Nigeria. But they get involved in politics. You are the problem of Nigeria. I think we have one or two comments here. Let's just quickly see. Good evening, Daniel Ago. He said APC is responsible, poor leadership. Well, my brother Daniel, I think when you say APC is responsible, APC, who is APC? APC is a political party or Progressive Congress. That political party was formed by people like you and I. It was formed by Nigerians, right? If you and I can agree that that political party was formed by people like you and I, Nigerians like you, not Ghana, not the Niger Republic, not Cameroon. They are Nigerians like you and I. They are made up of Nigerians like you and I. So from what I just explained now, they are also part of the problem. You cannot just tag the party as the problem. No. Yes, for the former president of Nigeria, Buhari, is for me, in my own words, is the worst president in the history of Nigeria. He is the worst president in the history of Nigeria. Because the reason I consider him to be the worst president in the history of Nigeria, because under his administration, a former military head of state, who God gave power before, who came to power through military coup, and God gave him power the second time to right his wrong, stood aloof, watched Nigerians being slaughtered because they were from his tribe. For the first time in the history of Nigeria as a nation, Nigerian farmers were unable to farm under General Muhammadu Buhari. Nigerian farmers were unable to farm. S-men took over all of our farm in Nigeria. Everywhere in Nigeria was all killer S-men, killing our mothers and sisters, our brothers, our loved ones, chasing them away from their farm. Cattle being escorted all over the farm across the southwest, southeast, south, eating people's hard-earned product that they were supposed to harvest the following year. So for me, General Muhammadu is the problem, not the party. Buhari as a person failed because under his leadership, Nigeria were not able to farm. And that also added to the crisis that we are currently under today in Nigeria because people could not farm. If you don't farm, where are you going to get food? So inflation, everything went up. Buhari allowed his killer S-men to reign over the country with impunity. He could not even call them terrorists. They started tagging them as unknown gunmen. So Buhari, in the history of Nigeria, his name will forever remain in the dustbin of history because it was the worst president. When people talk about Abacha is a saint compared to Buhari, the second coming of Buhari. Abacha, to me, is a saint. Because all Buhari did for 8 years was to stood aloof, watch Nigerians being slaughtered. Nigerians were killed on a daily basis under Buhari. Before, the international community used to, send a message of condolence to Nigeria when something happened. But under General Muhammadu Buhari, there was no message coming in anymore. The first message came in. After then, that was it. Because killing in Nigeria became like a normal activity. So when you say APC, perhaps I'm sure you have a brother or sister who also belong to that party. So they are the problem of Nigeria. APC is a party, and it's a party registered by people, Nigerians, you and I. So The problem of Nigeria is the political and the social instability in Nigeria that we are currently experiencing is as a result of our collective responsibility, all of us. Market woman, just name it. Market, the youth, copper, the police, army, DSS, market woman, the artisan, everybody, civil servant, we all contributed. Take Tinubu out of power, for example. Let's say take him out of power today and replace him with 200 Barack Obama. And tell me what happened in 2 years. So another thing that I've come to realize being on the social media as a human rights activist over the years now is our people are quick to blame others. They are quick to point finger to other people. They are quick to criticize your action, but at the end, they have no solution. And that's another problem that we Nigerians we have. For those that have the solution, that have the idea, we criticize them, but those who are criticizing, they don't have a single idea that will save the country or turn the country around. We are quick to criticize others. We need to learn to always appreciate and honor those that God has given the wisdom of King Solomon. When you see a laudable idea, embrace it, cherish it, appreciate that person. Not just coming on social media to rant and type because you are at the comfort of your home, typing rubbish, criticizing others when you don't have a single idea that can change it, move a nation or change the things of time, change the things in the status quo. Leaders are born. Leaders are born. Leaders are born. There are certain people who are born to be leaders on this earth. There are certain people. In multitude of people or person, you see a leader. There must be a leader. Yes, all fingers are not equal, but always learn to appreciate people with good ideas, innovative ideas. I always appreciate them. If you read the story of Elon Musk, you'll be amazed. The story of that man. His father is not worthy, but today is the richest, one of the richest in the world. It was through innovation. So, my brother Daniel, I appreciate your comment, but I 100% disagree with you that APC is responsible. APC is not responsible for nothing. You that is typing or watching, you are responsible. You and I. You can't take yourself out of it. Everybody is responsible for the society that we are currently having in Nigeria today. Everybody is responsible. We are all responsible, no matter how we look at it. If we were to be honest with ourselves, search our inner heart, you see that you are responsible for the problem, for the political and the social instability in Nigeria. So that takes me to the distress. I wrote a book. The book is going to be launched on the 18th of January, 5 p.m. Nigerian time. The book illustrates the situation of Nigeria from the independence from 1960. When Nigeria got independence, every Nigerians were so excited, trying to form a new alliance, trying to create a better path for the next generation. They were excited. Come the coup of 1960. 1967 to 1970. The 1966 coup, the first coup, 1966. That destabilized the situation of the country. Again, the Civil War came in 1967 to 1970. So the First Republic was disrupted, Second Republic was disrupted, and the Third Republic, we know what also happened. So the reason we are under distress today is as a result of a cumulative effect. Because from the First Republic to the Second Republic, First Republic, things were better. Second Republic, it was better, it was still better. But from there on, things started going down slowly. Like I stated earlier, nobody used to talk. No young generation used to talk about, or the youth used to talk about ritual, money ritual, and the rest, Yahoo and the rest. But you see, from probably 1980 something all the way down, 1985 thereabout or 86, things started changing gradually. And today, the nation is under distress. The issue of the moral consciousness, that nobody does things with out of their own conscience. They do things that they are not ought to do, but they don't care about the consequences. A young kid as young as 7 years old, when you send them a message to go and buy you something, you give them for example, 1,000 naira note to go and buy you something, and they will come back and tell you there's no change, whereas they already collected the change. All these issues all contributed, whether you like it or not. Everybody contributing from different, with your action and your inaction, has contributed to the state of the nation. The nation is under this. The nation is in distress today as a result of the failed leadership of the Nigerian political elite, the citizens as well. Now, some of you may also disagree on this. The military era, it was not all the military era that was bad or detrimental to our society as the nation Nigeria. It was not all. The era of General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida has some positive effect. The developmental stride of that man, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, as some of those things that the man did are still there for you and I to see today. Yes, military era is not always good because they come in through the coup d'etat. It's not something that Nigeria we want, or no nation want military to be in power because of the iron fist hand that they rule the country with. The era of General Sani Abacha was very brutal. Everybody knows about that. It was probably one of the darkest days in the history of Nigeria. Then we move away from there. Then the Obasanjo's second coming. God gave Obasanjo second chance to turn the page, to right the wrong and change the narrative of Nigeria. Only one thing that he could have done for Nigerians was the issue of electricity, which he couldn't achieve. Yes, he did. There are some other things that he did, like the telephone line he brought to Nigeria. It was under his regime we started using SIM card, the GSM. Yes, that was a plus to him. Kudos to him for that. Jonathan Yaradua, the short period of Yaradua. Yaradua would have also probably been remembered as one of the best presidents in the history of Nigeria if he had the opportunity to stay longer. But the few years he was in office, the few policies that he put in place, for example, the amnesty, the Niger Delta militant amnesty that he granted in order for peace to reign in the Niger Delta, it was a welcome development. He never tampered with any election that was conducted while he was president of Nigeria. That was a plus to him. The era of Jonathan, marked with corruption, crisis, looting, the kidnap of the Chibok girls and all that. Although that was political, yeah, it was later revealed or alleged that it was political. I'm sure most of you heard about it. The Chibok girls that were kidnapped, that raised, that went viral, and it became international shame on the nation called Nigeria. So, in summary, Nigeria as a nation is under distress. So I want to use this opportunity to urge every one of you, if you want to know what is in the book, it has 187 pages, and there are 2 chapters in that book that I deliberately dedicated to 2 persons. 2. One, I dedicated a chapter to General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida for the developmental stride between the period of 1983, August 1983 and 1995. I talked about his achievement, what he did under 8 years. Yes, he had a lot of criticism from the public because of the way he handled issue of the Gideon Oka coup, the death of Delegiwa, Mama Vasa and co. That is normal under military regime. But I'm not going to stand here and defend him on that angle. But what I will not do is not to honor this man. My conscience will never allow me to do that. I will honor what he did, what I can see in Nigeria today. The development, the longest bridge in the continent of Africa was built by that man, Third Mainland Bridge. The Abuja that people enjoy today, it was the one that developed Abuja and moved into Abuja. Some may say that he wanted to avoid another coup from Lagos. That was why he moved to Abuja. But that is for historians to discuss. But for me, I believe it's one of the only presidents that had never been honored or never be appreciated because of the June 12 election, which he also came out to apologize. I also wrote in that book that let history be my judge. If whatever I have said, because on different fora or different platform, I've asked people to come up with something better than what this man did. I put it out there on the public, on the social media. Give me something. If there's any man that has been able to surpass the achievement of this man for 8 years, give it to me and I'll bury the issue of talking about IBB or Babangida anymore. But to date, I never received anything from anyone. I did not acknowledge him for fighting for justice. No. I cannot say Babangida fought for justice. So if you perhaps read it somewhere on the social, it might be a mistake from the media, my media team. But I dedicated a page to him for what he did for Nigeria and Nigerians, and for the nation Nigeria and Nigerians, what he did for 8 years. Yes, like I said, some may agree, some may disagree, but who are we to judge? But in my conscience, for someone that always love to appreciate people when they are alive, that man deserves to be appreciated and recognized. Then that takes me to the next person that I also dedicated a chapter to, Nnamdi Kanu of the Biafran struggle. Yes, some may say that IPOB has been blacklisted as a terrorist organization in Nigeria. Well, everybody knows why Buhari did that. The IPOB. The Killer S-men, they were far worse than what the Biafran people were doing or what they allege that they did. I'm not in support of separation of Nigeria. I would never be. But for that young man who was born during the Civil War, Kanu was born 1967, the year the Civil War broke out. I'm sure the parents might have told him what they went through, the hell they went through during the Civil War. That probably gave him that mind, the spirit for him to stand up for his people. Yes, the people of the Southeast have always cried of marginalization. Some would say that they produced 7 or 8 Senate presidents. Why can't they change? How come those Senate presidents did not change their narrative? That is not for me to judge. But one thing is that is very paramount in this whole thing. Kanu is not a terrorist. It might have been taken out of context, whatever he has said or did, but it meant well for the people of Southeast. And history would judge him based on what he did. So I also dedicated a chapter to the Kanu-led struggle. And lastly, there are people that I acknowledge. I acknowledge them based on the way they stand up for human rights in Nigeria in their various capacity. I also acknowledge them because I have taken a decision, taking a decision to always do things in a different way. Because if we begin to appreciate those who are doing well for us, perhaps many will begin to queue behind those and want to do the same thing, so that history will always be fair to them. And those that will come after us will also do the same thing. So on that note, I also want to tell you that everything I have said about this book has nothing to do with GCSDN. GCSDN is a body that I am the public relation officer to. But everything I've said about my book, or everything that I've written about my book, is all about, it's from me, and it has nothing to do with GCSDN. 100%, it has nothing to do with GCSDN. It's all my personal opinion, my personal thought, and my personal work outside the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria. So I want to use this medium to tell all of you that if you want to get a copy of this very book, Nigeria, a Nation in Distress, which is scheduled for launching on the 18th of January at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, by 12 noon on Saturday, you should be able to purchase that book on Amazon. For those of you who are in Nigeria, for those of you who are in diaspora, you can purchase the book on Amazon right here. Just type the word Nigeria, a Nation in Distress. You can get a downloaded a copy, which is the ebook under the Kiddo session for £7, which is $9, and you can get a hard copy for $17, and it will be delivered to your address. And also, if you are in Nigeria or Ghana, Sierra Leone, Cameroon, any other part of Africa, where the continent of Africa, you can also buy the book on seller.co. Just type the word Nigeria, a Nation in Distress. It's right there on the screen, seller.co. For those of you who are in the continent of Africa, you can download and read. It's very easy. You just make a small token, download the book, and you read from there. It's very easy. It's as easy as ABC. It's on seller.co in Africa. So you can download, and there you can also see other great work of mine that I've been doing or I've done so far. I have quite a lot of books that I've written, especially there's one that is very dear to me, which is called The Migrant Under Siege. It's a book that I hope that I can get those who are willing to support to mass produce this book and use it to flood the continent of Africa, because I really hope to empower the younger generation with the information on that book. So I'm reaching out to those well-meaning Nigerians, those who are willing to help, to assist, to educate the younger generation and save them from a lot of life struggle and stress that we are currently facing outside the continent of Africa. So I'm encouraging those who are willing to support to reach out to me. We can mass produce this book in quantity and distribute across every library and schools in Nigeria. So on this note, I think I'll be ending this program. I want to say once again, Happy New Year to everybody, and thank you for watching. I will always come back to you every other week, if not every week. Because of my busy schedule, I'm unable to do my weekly program. But however, I'll try to always do a pre-recorded program like I always used to do. A pre-recorded program that will streamline or stream off on its own every 5 p.m. UK and 6 p.m. Nigerian time because of the time difference. So I hope to see you again sometimes next week or thereafter. Until then, I say shalom.